Imagine a world transformed by the power of giving, where every act of kindness sparks another. These are the champions who dedicate their lives to change. Together, they are paying it forward. Champions of change. Paying it forward. Join us and be part of the movement. Here on the Achievement Channel.
Welcome to Champions of Change on the Achievement Channel, where we shine a light on remarkable leaders making a lasting impact in their communities. Today, we're thrilled to introduce you to two inspiring co-founders behind K2U Puzzles, Martins and Ewoma Oloye. Together, they have created K2U Puzzles, a platform dedicated not just to play, but to cultivating critical thinking, resilience, and confidence in Nigeria's youth. I'm Pamela Egbo, and I'm excited to be with you today, live from our studios at the School of Eloquence in Lagos. Let's get started. Martins and Ewoma, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having us.
Fantastic. So I have your brainchild here, K2U Puzzles. I'd love you to, especially you, Ewoma, to tell us what inspired you to start this fantastic puzzle sets.
Okay, so K2U Puzzles came as a result of a personal experience we had, and there was an inspiration based on that experience, something to see how we could transform the lives and minds of children and people in general in Nigeria and then in Africa, and of course across the world. So that's K2U Puzzles. We started initially looking to develop puzzles, but beyond puzzles, puzzles that were based on African folk tales. That's what K2U Puzzles is about. They are jigsaw puzzles based on African folk tales, stories that we grew up with, stories that have been passed down from generations.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Now, Martins, I know that puzzles, and you can wade into this, Ewoma, I know that puzzles help with critical thinking. Could you tell us what are the benefits beyond play of puzzles, and particularly tell us how you have modified these for the African context?
Thank you. The benefits of puzzles are a long list. We have very many of them. I'll hone in on a few of them. There's the most impressive one for me, because it's a lot. So what I love to talk about is the fact that you get smarter when you play puzzle. So number one, you engage both sides of the brain, the right side, creative, the left side for logic every time you play. Number two, personally to me, it takes the children off the screen. Number three, there's the hand coordination, fine motor skills for children. Number four, if you have memory problems, which is attention to details, it also helps to cater to that. And when we are growing older, for people that are trying to, in one way or the other, remember things, the research is actually evolving, but it's helping with a little way with Alzheimer's and dementia. So there's a lot of it. Then for the African context, why we fashioned it in that way, like she was saying, is we need to bring it back home. Your culture, your heritage, your identity. Take a man's identity away from him, you've killed the man. You've just taken everything away. So that's why we're here doing this.
That's right. And could you elaborate more, Ewoma, on, I know there's a statistic about how it helps the IQ. Could you just talk about that a little bit and explain that?
Yes. So there's a research that shows that if you spend 25 minutes a day on a jigsaw puzzle, then there's a probability your IQ would increase by 4 points.
Wow.
So what it means is that you spend 25 minutes on any jigsaw puzzle, just the action of trying to fit the pieces together, it strengthens your brain and it increases your IQ. And that's also, you know, part of the reason why we are on a drive for this, to see how we can increase the average IQ of the children in Nigeria and inadvertently increase the national IQ here in Nigeria, and then, you know, of course, spreading it across Africa. So that's, you know, one of the importance of jigsaw puzzles. There is also the aspect of problem solving and critical thinking. So what it means is you have children engage in jigsaw puzzles continuously over time, you're just going to have solution providers everywhere.
Right.
So you're not going to have people thinking, oh, there is a problem. You're going to have people thinking, there is a problem, but there is also a solution.
That's right.
That's what you get with jigsaw puzzles. You are not taught how to fix it. You just have random pieces, and you're expected to put those pieces into a picture. So what it means is your brain is hot-wired to provide solutions. You're constantly looking, oh, everything is in shambles. How do I put it back to, you know, solve a problem? How do I put it back to make headway? How do I make something out of nothing? That's what the impact of jigsaw puzzles do.
Fantastic.
And in addition, the way she's saying it, I'm just looking at her. So, like, I can see her brainwave.
Right.
So there's this part where every time, just like you're working with AI, your brain is regenerating. The neurons are moving from one end to the other. You are tasking yourself. You set the strategy yourself. You set an end goal to yourself. You get confident. You become independent, and you deliver.
Fantastic. Yes. I mean, look, I totally agree with how puzzles can really help with critical thinking, because my daughter went to a Montessori school and they were big on, I mean, this was in the UK, but they were very big on puzzles. And I could see how she has grown. When she's solving a solution, she's always asking questions. Why? You know, not just taking it for granted. So I can see how puzzles are really, really good for that. And could you also tell us a little bit about the stories that you've infused into the puzzles? Because you've deliberately made them African, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay, do I go first or you do it?
Well, you go ahead.
So, you know, growing up, we have the level of morality that we don't have these days again. And you want to go to your grandma, go under the tree, there was Tales by Moonlight. So we have some beautiful stories, folklore, folk tales that we are known with. In the UK, you have your fairy tales, you have all of those things. You have Thor, I have Songo. You have, you know, those kind of things. So we have our stories. So our children now don't get to know those stories anymore. On the average, they don't ask any one of them randomly, how many of our stories do you know? A lot of them don't even know Simba is actually the name of lion. In Swahili, Simba is Swahili for lion. They don't know. But because we consume so much of those, you know,
Western
contents,
cultures,
we don't even know who we are. So that's why we're here. Like, look, you're going to learn Gwagwangwa. You're going to learn Ajaduru, the Yoruba one. You're going to learn Dawa Dawa, the Hausa one. We have Ananse,
Igi.
Orombo. You get it? You're going to learn Dawa Dawa from the north.
Yes.
You're going to learn Ananse
From Ghana.
From Ghana, all across Africa. So we have content that is custom made for Africa, using our own African stories, the heritage, the stories that we are no longer saying. You know, the children don't even know it, so we need to bring it back to them. And for every story, which is where I love to, you know, emphasize on, there's a moral of every story. So when you're done with a story, your grandma, your grandpa will say, what have you learned today? Today I've learned to be kind, I've learned not to steal, I've learned not to be a bully, I've learned to be brave, I've learned to be, to show empathy, I've learned to be communal in the way we live. So do you want to add some?
Well, I think, yes, you can
on.
keep going, and you've practically, you know, touched on all of the points. But really, truly, the idea of these stories is to bring them back.
Sure.
A lot of these stories have gone extinct. I always joke around and I say, ask anybody 25 years and below, how does tortoise have his cracked shell? And they're like, But, that's one of the stories that we have, how
Right.
tortoise, went with the birds for the feast, and then he said, my name is all of you, and took all the food. All of those stories, we have them infused. So the idea is the children read the stories and then fit the puzzle. So what's happening is there's a lot of imagination going on.
Right.
Especially in the act of putting together a picture that is a depiction of the story that they have read.
Sure. Fantastic. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll come back and continue this amazing conversation with Martins and Ewoma.
Champions of change. Paying it forward. Join us and be part of the movement.
Are you in governance?
You need public speaking.
Are you in business?
You need public speaking.
Are you a professional?
You need public speaking.
Learn how to overcome nervousness and speak with confidence before any audience at the School of Eloquence, the home of public speaking.
Attend our practical and training one-on-one coaching with West Africa's only certified speaking professional in Lagos and Abuja.
Call 0802 3032 066. Log on to schoolofeloquence.org. School of Eloquence.
Teaching the world to speak.
Champions of change. Paying it forward. Join us and be part of the movement.
Welcome back to Champions of Change. Today we've been talking to Martins and Ewoma Oloye about their brainchild K2U Puzzles. We're going to continue this amazing conversation. So, Ewoma and Martins, tell me, how can your puzzles make the Nigerian educational system more robust?
So the thing about puzzles, when we're talking about it earlier, he mentioned that puzzles kind of turns your brain into what AI is. It begins to self-train. So what happens is, with puzzles, there are no rules, there are no instructions. It is an opportunity to self-train.
Right.
So you are tasking the brain, you are demanding of the brain, and then the brain, being the organ that it is, will respond. So what's going to happen is, with puzzles, for example, it's either it's the piece or it's not the piece. No matter how you try to force it in, if it's not the piece, it's not. And you're going to have to figure it out eventually. So what happens is that your brain is regenerating, your brain is self-training. And then when your brain encounters everything, it begins to question it. It begins to figure out a way to make it better. So in impacting the education of children, it will enable children become more critical in their assessment or dealings with any aspect of education, either in the classroom or off the classroom. So the puzzles would create an avenue for children to ask more questions, and will create an avenue for the teachers as well to be able to answer those questions, because you are asking, just as the jigsaw puzzle is demanding of the brain is responding. So it happens in the entire society. So it's just it's a ripple effect.
Sure.
What's going to happen is a ripple effect. There'll be a demand, there has to be a response. There'll be a demand, there'll be a response.
It's a jigsaw. It is a puzzle. Jigsaw puzzling. You will have to find solutions to everything: mathematical, biology. When you get to approach any question in the classroom, outside the classroom, and in life in general, you are trying to get all the multiple angles and look for all the ways to just get this thing done. Getting it done. You just make sure that you sort everything one piece at a time and you get it done.
And what has been the uptake or the response by presumably, the government, the Ministry of Education to this? Because this is amazing and fantastic.
So I will start with the response by parents. A lot of parents have bought these puzzles, and the ones that I know personally, I have them ringing me up at night, 11 p.m. Ewoma, my daughter is not sleeping. She has refused to go to bed. She's with this puzzle. And I just laugh and say, oh, that's a good problem. So first of all, that's better than your daughter being on the screen till 11 p.m. And secondly, that's a sign that what jigsaw puzzles are supposed to achieve, it's going on with your daughter, and that's that need to complete, to finish.
Build resilience.
Resilience. So I've also had, even old people that have used it. He mentioned that research is ongoing, but this is also very good for old people, especially those with Alzheimer's, dementia. I've had an old lady, in fact, a couple of them actually, that after spending time on the puzzles, they're calling to say, oh, this is really wonderful. Can we have more? Can we have other stories? Because of course, they recognize the stories. They were stories that they grew up with. So they recognize the stories more than the children. And generally, even from educational institutions, schools, the government, yes, we have spoken to a few government agencies here and there, and they have also, really bought into it. I mean, this is first of its kind.
Fantastic.
There are no African folk-tale jigsaw puzzles. This is the first. It's solving multiple problems in one. So it has been an amazing reception so far from everyone that has come in contact with this puzzle.
That's great. Fantastic.
Really amazing.
Amazing. Obviously, like anything that you start off, being your brainchild, you will encounter a few challenges along the way. Can you share just a few of what those challenges might have been and how you've navigated them?
Okay. The first one is they know puzzle. A few of them know when they say jigsaw puzzles or puzzle games, but they feel it is elitist, like it is beyond reach. So we are always telling them, no, it's not beyond reach, number one. Number two, a whole lot of them are always marveled, like, puzzle can do this to me, to my child, and it is now available in African. Some of us really, on the average, don't want to overload our children. One or two references. Australia is cancelling as much as they can. It's all over the internet, reduce screen time. We know the story of China, we know the story of all other countries. The more you take them off the screen, the better for everyone.
I agree.
So parents are, they never knew. And some will feel, okay, can we try it? When they try it, eventually, like what she said, it's always good news. So the fact that it's now available was a big challenge. So we are making sure that getting to be accepted, and which they are doing that. Then, key factor to us is why we are partnering with a few organizations is to make sure it is now affordable. That's the word I'm trying to look for. How to use the word affordable, because it is premium, but we need to make sure it is also affordable. So like the premium and the affordability in the same sentence, and making it available for all of them. So those are the challenges, and we are meeting it, and
That's
they
fantastic.
are taking it.
That's amazing.
That's something.
And I remember when I first had a chat with you, you talked about one of the reasons that you started this was to get people off the streets. And you've been quite active in your local communities in doing that. Can you just speak a little bit about that? What does that look like, getting people off the streets through puzzles? And how can people get involved? Are there volunteering opportunities?
Okay, I'll take it from the volunteering. So presently we have a group of volunteers, NYC people from governments working with us, because it's a lot. And because we've worked with them on certain stages, going under the bridge, reaching out to people that normally don't get reached. So the thing is, a lot of the people we meet are actually intelligent. But unlike other games, this gives you the ability to express yourself. So there's no language barrier, because we have the stories in it that we've put in every puzzle, and we now translate to other languages. So there's no language barrier. You can be smart and show it through this. So we are walking around, going to schools. Then we've been to some public schools, and like I was trying to explain, we don't want to be elitist anymore. You can be somebody, you can be anybody. You can get the spark that will just change everything just from the puzzle. So we are reaching out to them. We are going into the markets. So we're now having unlettered people, if I want to use that word, that are now like, okay, you know what, I can do this thing. So they are challenging students. So we are trying to get more of them, trying to make sure they look at the feasibility and make sure it is applicable. So get it out and students, community relations, and those are the things we've been trying to do. But we're reaching out gradually, moving from one step to the other all over the country. And we're still open to have more people work with us volunteering and also sponsoring, because we have noticed that it is out of the reach, but we're trying to make sure that we leave no child behind.
Fantastic,
So that's what we're
amazing,
trying to do.
amazing. We will leave your contact details on our platform so people can get in touch if they want to get involved in this. So lastly, I know that there is a project that you're passionate about that you're rolling out this year and hopefully will continue next year, called the Million Project. So could you just do your shameless plug and tell people about that?
Okay, so that's Project 1 Million, and that is the drive to reach a minimum of 1 million children across Nigeria with these puzzles. So what we're trying to do is ensure, and even that 1 million children, that's a big number, but in comparison to Nigeria, that's very small. That's just about 2% of the number of children that we have. That's just about 28,000 children per state,
Right.
across Nigeria. So, but we are starting somewhere, and that's Project 1 Million. So reach a minimum of 1 million children with a puzzle each. And we're looking, we're talking to private individuals, private organizations, NGOs, governments, multinationals, across board, to say this is what we're trying to do. Because even with these puzzles alone, you are meeting SDG 4, SDG 10, SDG 11.
Goals, yeah.
So
education,
that is quality
and poverty.
education, inequality, and sustainable communities. So that's what we are trying to do. The more we have, like we said, the more we have the IQ increased on average, then we have an increased national IQ. And that's what we're trying to achieve with Project 1 Million. So we're calling on everybody to join hands with us. This is a gift that will keep on giving. It will keep on giving. The impact of jigsaw puzzles on the brain, on the individual, on the family. I mean, you use it for family bonding. The impact is, it spreads.
Endless.
It's
Yes.
endless. It's endless. It's endless.
And there's the social benefits. I don't like using the word impact. So you could walk away. Each time we walk away from any of these gatherings, you could see happiness that, we're walking on sunshine. When they come, you could feel the joy. We could see in some of our clips, like you see them like, okay, this is some form of relief. This is not the, what we're used to. This is just different. Then we try to engage them, pitch them against each other. And the communal, this is dopamine.
Yes.
So your
It
brain
boosts their
Yes.
confidence.
Yes.
they're just happy. So we're the happy people, making them happy.
Fantastic.
Making brands happy. And
It's literally like a vitamin pill.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. This is an amazing puzzle set, and we hope that it will create a ripple effect in communities. So thank you so much again.
Thank you very
Thank you
much
for having us.
having us.
Thank you for tuning in to Champions of Change on the Achievement Channel. We hope you have enjoyed the journey of Martins and Ewoma Oloye, and this has ignited a spark to create change in your own little way. Remember, every small action can lead to monumental impact. I'm your host, Pamela Igbo. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing this story with you. See you next time. Bye for now.